Yes, footy is back for 2024. Welcome back to the Sunday Roast. Coming up on this Sunday Roast, we have me and Das talking about the Blues and the Swans. You reckon us two struggle with that? Then Lou joins me for the last two games where Gold Coast gave Richmond a hiding and GWS little boyed the Pies. We had a look into next week, round one. We guessed the lines. It's a good pod. Give it a listen. Cheers. Welcome back to the 100k Sunday Roast. AFL season is officially back if the Sunday Roast is back. It's going to be a bit different this year. Joining me here, Darcy Ballard. Dobe, how are you, brother?
I could not be better, Jev. If there is a first Sunday roast to get into, it's when the Swans win and the Blues win. If you like the Swans and the Blues, this is the show for you, because what we do on the Sunday roast, we don't only go back and have a quick look at the games, but we tell you the odds, what people were paying. A lot of people always talk about the pre-game odds, what everything pays, but we screenshot all the markets, so we break it down after to let you know what might actually be some honey hot spots for some players to actually get on, not just the big plays, the touches and the big goals. There's a couple of smaller markets, Jeff, that I looked at in the Carlton-Brisbane game, which could be an absolute multi-filler come the next few weeks. But it is so good to have footy back, Jeff. And it all started Thursday night.
So it's, you're speaking to the two happiest blokes on earth. It's currently Saturday morning. So you're going away for the weekend, so we're getting the first two games done. Then me and Morg's going to do the next two games, and it's still going to get released Sunday night, Monday morning, as usual. But going forward this year, you and me are going to try and go live on as many Sundays as we can, do the roast live on YouTube or whatever we're going to do it on. Still going to come out as a podcast the next day, but that is super exciting for this year.
It will be. Live reactions. We'll pretty much be going live straight after the Bachelor's game.
The Bachelor's game. You have to be single to watch the 4:40 Sunday game. That's why we call it the Bachelor's game. I haven't caught one in years, so it's fucking funny. But let's get into round zero. Let's start with the season opener. Swans defeat the D's by 22 points. Oh my God, I'm up and about. Das, I know you've been on night shift, so we'll talk about this in a minute at the Carlton-Brisbane game. But did you see any of this game? Do you have any thoughts, anything?
Yeah, I'm happy to let you pretty much run with this to let me know what you saw. But coming into it, I just want to let everyone know that Melbourne were 8.5 point underdogs, and then which means everyone really likes Sydney. And then right before the game, we obviously know you guys had some injuries. They got smashed in, and then it was pretty much pick 'em. So it was pretty much even money. And then right at the very end, Swans went into a 1.5 favourite. So obviously some late money, but from what I saw, I thought it was a really good contest, especially in the first half. It really slippery. It looked like a game watching it up in Metricon, which is a bit annoying. You like when it's a little bit dry. The skills are a little bit better. But it was a really tough game. But, Jev, I'll let you take it away. What did you see? Because you had some really good opinions on it.
I've been saying, I said straight after the game, one of the 4 prelim spots is taken, Das. The Swans are playing in a prelim. They proved to me everything I needed to see. Do you remember on our Swan season preview, I know I went full nuffy, but one of the things I said was I reckon on grand final day, horse over coaches, and he lets the moment get too much for him, or I don't know what happens, but they come in so tight. I don't know if you saw before the game, because it's the 150th year of the Swans and South Melbourne Bloods, all the players walked like down, I don't even know what it was, like walking from Richmond Station to the MCG for us. They walked to the SCG with all the fans, with all the old players, Hanbury, Ty Kennelly, Josh Kennedy, Barry Hall, Michael O'Loughlin, Adam Goods, all there. They walked, they were high-fiving the fans, they embraced it. They're talking about how they're going to bring the fans along with them this season. We're all going to do it together in the year 150. All the old players are invited. Everyone's invited. Come along for this journey. It's going to be great. It's basically exactly what Collingwood did last year. Remember Darcy Moore after every game? It was sort of like, you know, he'd get around the crowd. If they won by a point, whatever, he'd get around, he'd bring them on the journey. Craig McRae would always say, bring the 100K people here with us on this journey. So and Horse spoke about it, I can already see a change in mentality to us. It's all about like just embrace what's happening, embrace what's going to happen this season, enjoy the highs and the lows, bring everyone along with what we do. That already hyped me up. Then the game starts. I was nervous before the game. We've got Petrarca, Viney, and Oliver, and we're missing Mills, Parker, and Taylor Adams in our first game. I'm like, we're in trouble that we're just going to get beaten up around the ball and, and not going to be able to stop them. And they're just going to beat us by just being a bit tougher. So we kick the first goal. Ollie Florent kicks the first goal. He was on fucking, this pisses you and me off. You couldn't bet on him, so he was on no other player, not listed player, that at $4.10.
That's bullshit.
$4.10. It should be 41-1. Anyway, the first half was a bit scrappy. Melbourne wasted a lot of opportunities going inside forward 50. They need to fix that. We'll talk about Melbourne in a minute. But it was pretty even going into halftime. I think the Swans are up by a little bit. I can't remember the exact score at halftime. 4 goals, 3 to 2 goals, 8. Swans were up by about a goal. But then in the second half, I could just see the Swans are all about and what Collingwood have been about and Richmond when they were in their dynasty. Every time they touch the ball, they're looking to score. They're going forward. They're taking risky kicks into the midfield. It's all about scoring. Every minute of the clock is ticking. You can kick goals. Collingwood did it last year. It'd be like there'd be 5 goals up, a minute to go in a quarter. No more sideways ball or anything. They just kept kicking goals, kept putting the pressure on. In the second half, we just overwhelmed the Ds of just constant barrage of scoring. And the most impressive thing is Grundy, and I'm super impressed with Hayden McLean. They beat up Max Gawn a bit. And Max Gawn spoke about he was dominant in the first half. His first quarter was unbelievable. The forward half stopped. He was getting a hold of Grundy, and you could see second half, Grundy nearly gets 3 Brownlow votes for this game, does 22 touches. I can't remember how many hit-outs, a lot of hit-outs. And he was just unbelievable. And then they were talking about around the ground, Nick Blakey, every midfielder would just bump Max Gawn. And this is going to be Melbourne's biggest problem because the Swans have put it on tape, round 0. They wore Max Gawn down and he became irrelevant in the last quarter. And we just overwhelmed him by constantly kicking goals, missing our 3 Bull midfielders. I couldn't be more impressed with the way we did it. And it was Chad, it was Errol, it was Isaac Heaney, played 80% midfield time, was nearly best on ground as well. He'll probably be in the Brownlow votes. And we just kept scoring, kept going forward, kept giving ourselves chances. It was just great to watch us. Absolutely loved it. As a Swan supporter, I'm super excited for the season. The defense held up, or that can be a bit of Melbourne as well. The midfield looked good with guys to come back in. Brodie Grundy looks like he can ruck 80% of a game, which is what he wants to do, and he was unbelievable around the ground as well. And the forward line kicked enough goals to win, and it's only going to get better. So it was a great round 0 for the Swans, Das.
That was a really good mention at the end as well. The forwards did enough to get over the line because I thought that they were definitely the downfall from you guys. Like McLean, Amati, and Logan didn't really get going early at all. Like McLean obviously came back. He missed that easy as one, but then piled on another 2 after that. But I thought the way that you were able to get goals from your midfielders as well, like Chad Warner kicking one and getting into it. And as you did mention, I wasn't expecting Heaney to play that much up forward. 26 disposals and a goal, Jev. It was a really good contest. At the start, it looked like May and Lever, they were setting up, like they were going really slow. And you guys, as you said, Jev, wanted to put speed on the ball and were reloading. But I think you mentioned the other night in one of the stories, once they were behind, geez, they didn't look too quick, did they?
Yeah.
Because they're so used to just locking it up in those low-scoring games. Well, they scored 64. So pretty sure they were one of the highest scoring or inside 50 sides last year. And their last 4 or 5 games, they've only averaged 60 points.
Yep.
They remember we versed them not even in that final. It was like 64-ish, and then all their finals were about 60 points. So they've obviously got some things they need to address going inside the forward line. And like Van Ruin didn't get near it. They just didn't look dangerous going forward in the second half. And as you said, Jev, you beat them down.
Yeah, it was just constant, overwhelming, surging forward, and it just got them. So let's talk about Melbourne for a sec. So I'm bullish on Melbourne. I love the contest and defense thing that is their mantra. I think it wins games. It constantly puts you in the top 4 and gives you a chance to win the flag. Contest defense. They're kicking inside 50, which was their biggest issue last year, and I'm sure they worked on it all season, was horrible. It was horrible. And then they kept saying how they brought in Jack Billings, bit of class at half forward to fix it. They start him as the sub, and he fucking, I don't even know how many touches he got, but he didn't even get a chance at that. They clearly miss Cozzy Pickett. They miss Harrison Petty. They miss Jake Melksham. I get this. I just reckon Melbourne are not built to come from behind. How slow does Stephen May, Jake Lever, and Adam Tomlinson look when they're 5 goals down? So when Collingwood are down, Darcy Moore's flying off the half back line. So is Nathan Murphy. Like, these guys are flying off the back line, getting into the chain of scoring. When Melbourne are 5 goals up, May, Lever, Tomlinson defend all day. They'll fist it out, slow, contest, defense, work their way up, Clayton Petrarca. But when they're 5 goals down, they do not look like they can come from behind. They're just too slow. And then it's like, as much as we love Clary, and his 30 was unbelievable and he was so physical, he just lacks that class of kicking, that Dacos or Bont class of kicking. He's really get it on the boot surge at 4, but then they don't have the talent in their forward line. I'm not riding them off, but your call of them missing finals, we're talking after one game, we haven't seen any other team play. It's like, it's probably more likely than not if the competition's going to be as good as we say it's going to be. So, I'd be filthy if I was a Melbourne fan. You had a dominant first half. Viney was unbelievable. Petrarca was good. Clayton Oliver was unbelievable. You're holding up in defense and you can only put fucking 64 on the board sort of thing.
Yeah, I still think they'll stack up against a lot of other sides, but as when I went through the 8, that's why I had them probably just missing. They'll probably still win the 13 games, but there'll be a lot of teams on percentage. Swans are a good outfit at home, obviously, Jev. Do you have any markets? Was there anything paying anything?
Well, you give me some stats and I'll tell you what they paid. I got the screenshots here. So what did we have? We had Clary for 30, shouldn't be much.
Nah, that would have been short. But want to know, so Statmate was saying the best bet of the week, Jev, was Fritsch for 3 goals. I know that was 255 because his form coming in against Sydney, his last 4 games against Sydney, he's kicked 3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals. So implied on that, the odds should be $1.60. I know it was $2.55 for 3 goals, Jeff, but what was Bailey Fritsch for 4?
So for 3, it was $2.40. For 4, he was $4.75, which is delicious. Jack Viney, you can only get for 1, was $3.70. Spewing, you can't get him for 2. That would have been around the $10 mark.
Yeah. Hayden McLean for 2 goals.
Hayden McLean, he was good. So do you remember, you could only get him for 1. That's disposals. That is disposals. McLean goals. $3.20 for 2, which is
great.
nice. That would have been nice. $9 for 3. Keep an eye on that. So, do you remember in the season preview, Das, I said, can Logan McDonald, Joel Amadi, and Hayden McLean kick 100 goals between them? Will be a top 4 side, guaranteed. Before halftime, they had 1 disposal between them, Das.
Yeah.
They looked tall. It was slippery. But what I like they played them. I like they played all 3. But they subbed Amadi off as soon as it wasn't working, which is fine. I'm sure all 3 of them know, like, if we look too tall and it isn't working, one of you guys is getting subbed off. So Hayden McLean chopped out Brodie Grundy when he needed it. Logan McDonald he's more of a hybrid forward. He's more of a up and down the ground, but I don't want to compare him to Jeremy Cameron, but that's probably more like what you're going to see, how he's going to play. He's not necessarily a big Tom Hawkins, a big Max King, a big Charlie Curnow. He's a bit more up and down the ground. And then we do want 1 bear in the square, which if Amadi and McLean aren't working, we look too tall, we'll just sub 1 off, which I don't hate. So, it looked like they had plans on plans. What could I get? Let me have a look at Heaney and Grundy's disposal. So Grundy had 23. Brodie
Grundy paying
Grundy
heaps for 20.
$2.65 for 20, which is delicious. And Heaney for 26. So what could we get Heaney for 25? $5.80 for 25 for Isaac Heaney.
Yeah, I don't think many people expect him to play that much. I actually took his under, Jev.
Did ya?
Which is 18 disposals. I
What
thought he
about
would have
this,
been playing
Das?
more half forward.
What would you think Nick Blakey for 25, who we both agree is basically an A-grade halfback, he's one of the best halfbacks in the game. What would you think Nick Blakey pays for 25 touches?
Well, now because you've said that, I'm thinking something around the 2s.
$4 we could have got for 25 touches. Oh, $4. So if you had Blakey into Heaney for 25, into what's his name, Brodie Grundy for 20, that multi would have paid about 50 to 1.
Take notes, guys. Take notes because these odds are going to get smashed in the next few games.
Fuck. So I'm super happy. Round 0. All you want is your team to be 1-0. And I said I was going to be wrapped if the Swans just start 1-1 because we've got Collingwood at the MCG next week.
Big game,
and I was super nervous. If we lost to Melbourne, then we have to fucking beat Collingwood at the MCG without the 3 players I've been talking about. So now we're 1-0. I feel like we nearly get a free crack at Collingwood next week at the G because, it's going to be hard to beat them at the G. So Swans I'm super happy with the Swans. Let's get into the next game. Friday night, prelim final replay. So let me set this up for you a little. Das is on night shift, right? But he's finishing a bit earlier because it's a long weekend. So he doesn't see any of the first half. I watched the first half. It was a borderline training drill for the Lions. Anyone watching, they looked like they were at training against the twos at the Gabba. They were like winning the ball back. Then they had 13 guys streaming forward into space. They'd do one switch, kick it over the back, and they were just free everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God, this team's winning the flag. They're up by 46 points. They were just doing whatever they liked against the Blues. Charlie Cameron was getting involved, revving the bike. Everyone was kicking snags. Dane Zorko's kicking them out of their ass. There's nothing that pisses the Mutuals off more than Dane Zorko dominating. And yeah, I watched the second half. So you finish work with about 5 minutes to go before the half, Das. Oh, and one other thing, in the group chat, there's about 5 minutes to go in the second half, and I go, is Charlie Curnow playing? He had 2 possessions at the time, both in the back half. He was nowhere near it. I'm like, where is this bloke? Like, is he even on the field? I didn't even see him in the camera at all. I've chirped him before halftime. You finished. Tell me what you saw.
I come out of the hole, Jev. Big week of work. And I have a look. The phone is buzzing. It's hot. The Blues are ass. The Blues are cheeks. You guys stink. This is always going to happen. 46 point down. Has Charlie even got near it? What's going on? I come up, Mike. What the fuck is happening? We're getting absolutely reamed. Blues suck. You guys stink. Obviously losing a couple of your top liners. You guys are going to be no good. All right, go get some sushi. Head to the train station. From all I saw, Jev, we were the best team on that field by an absolute landslide. It was one of the best games. I got home in time for about the last 4 or 5 minutes, watched the last little bit of me jock, so I was getting changed. I could not believe it. But I'm just going to quickly go from the very start. So let's have a look. Before the game, Brisbane versus Carlton. Brisbane were $1.24. Carlton were $3.95. I got a sprinkle of them at $5 as well.
Because your Sportsbeat offered you that odds boost of $5.50 or something. Because I got the same one. I got offered $5.50 for Carlton. I thought, not a fucking chance.
Yeah, so I took that. So well done to me. I actually kicked the first goal at 41-1. If everyone saw, 20 meters out. No, it was actually Hugh McCluggage, Jev. $26 for the first snag.
It was delicious. Yep.
And 7 out of the last 8 matches between Brisbane and Carlton at the Gabba have gone over the total match points. The total match points last night, Jev, was at 169.5. The total score was 171 points. They get it right again.
They get it right again.
They're right on the line. So that was $1.88 if anyone had that. Harry obviously had the shot to win the game for the Blues, which was, I thought that he wanted that. For the first time in about 2 years, when the ball came in, he led at the footy. Arms weren't fully extended, but it was like, Harry, like he wanted that ball. And he went back, looks like he had a bit of a routine. The first goal was the exact same as the last goal of the game, Jev. He went back. I thought from that distance that he might have gone for the snap, but he didn't. He went back, went the drop punt. And I think a lot of people, if you're watching, you'll cop him missing a drop punt. Like, go for the drop punt as opposed to if you spray a snap, it goes down the full. You're like, what the fuck are we doing here? But after Harry kicked the first one for us, the Lions went on a bit of a run. Rayner kicked one. Zorko kicked 2. The Sneeze, Callum Marchie kicked 1. Charlie Cameron and Hip Jesus kicked 1. As you said, Jev, the biggest lead was 18 minutes and 27 minutes into the second quarter where they were 46 points up.
46 points.
46 points. And me and you mentioned this so much last year, Jev, especially with the Swans early on. Obviously, this isn't groundbreaking, but bad set shot kicking will lose you games.
Yep.
And then I went back and watched the first half last night, Jev, and there was a couple when they were in front. Hipwood missed a couple.
Yeah.
Cameron missed a few really easy ones early and then late, and that just lets us get back into it. So Hipwood, Cameron missed a couple. There you go, 46 points up, and then Cunningham gets one at the other end of the ground. We just go end to end. And then we kicked 7 goals in the third term, and we're back. Charlie kicked 3 of those in 6 minutes.
It was
Jack Carroll came on in the third for Doherty and looked unbelievable. I heard that he was the highest rated player on the ground. Went at 80%, I think 100% in that quarter. Kicked a goal on his left foot. Went straight into the midfield. So obviously he's got all the blessing from Vossi to go in there and just have a crack. And the last quarter was an arm wrestle, a real finals-like quarter. Only 4 goals. Zach Bailey, Captain Cripps, Cameron, and then Harry obviously kicked that last one in the end. There's something about having a win like this, usually in season, that will turn your season around. You don't usually see a win like this in round one.
Yeah.
Down 46 points and but what a launch pad, even as you said for the Swans, Jeff. You go up to the Gabba, you're down 46 points.
You get it
You're
done.
down Wiedering. You're down Walsh.
Unbelievable.
You're down a heap of other players. Jack Martin, Marchbank might come back in. Motlop will probably come back in. And then you come back from 46 points, resiliency, mental toughness coming into the next few games. But you just see that as a group and you're like, fuck, boys. Like, we're on. Like, if we were down 46 points, we get buried. Everyone's like, oh, it's round 1. It's up there. Pretty good team. Like, still, like, what are the boys doing pre-season? Fuck no. We went back to it. Our backline looked fucking awesome.
Fucking oath. Fucking. So I tipped the Blues to miss the 8 this year, Das. It's on record. I've tipped them to miss the 8. Watch this game. You're 46 points down, and just exactly why I tipped them to miss the 8 is coming. First of all, I think your A graders are injured, and then I don't rate the rest of your talent that much. I think it's okay. It's a lot of role players, whatever. But you just cannot underrate just a team, just a team that is all on the same page of winning football games. And it's sort of like Collingwood. You look at Collingwood's list and I go, how the fuck is Billy Frampton a premiership player? Or there's a couple of suspects on that list. You're like, he's no good. Like, how is he a premiership player? Guys like, fuck, I don't want to chirp too many, I'll cop it. But like Oleg Markov, he's just a footballer. He's a good halfback. He's now a premiership player. Like Collingwood have them all over the park, but they're so well coached and they're all on the same page of winning. They look like an absolute dynasty team that was just a thing. And that's what I saw from the Blues last night. You know, you're missing Walsh, you're missing Wiedering. A reason I think your A grade is injury prone. And then I'm like, I was sick of hearing Matt Cottrell get compared to Chris Judd or something. I was fucking sick of it. And then every bloke on the field plays their role and you just tick your way back into it. And then Charlie Curnow, the best forward we've seen in the last fucking 5 years, kicks 3 in 6 minutes and just turns the game. And then the Lions start to shit themselves, and Captain Cripps, who doesn't care how many touches he gets. He just cares about winning football, just puts his head over it. He kicks a big goal. He does this, he does that, whatever it takes to win. Doherty goes down. It doesn't matter. This bloke comes on and plays his role, and you just clawed your way back on a team that's probably a bit too happy with themselves, the Lions. When they were 46 points up, as you went back and watched the first half, it did look like a training drill, didn't it? It was like, fuck, how easy are they kicking goals?
Every time they get it out, they're just like a handball. There's like another person. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, in the second half, I think Joel Selwood said it. It's like they changed jerseys.
Yeah. And
we were doing that. And all I saw from when I turned it on, I'm like, we're fucking dominating.
Dominated them. And you just started winning around the source. You just did it slowly. You won around the source. You got it deep inside your 50. You set up the ground and you were just scoring. And you scored again. And you win it at the centre bounce and you get it in and you score again. And it was good to see Zach Williams out there. And I like Williams, Newman off your halfback. Sard tried to do a roll on Charlie Cameron. He looked like he was going to get burnt a couple of times. He nearly should have had 6 kicked on him, but Charlie Cameron missed a couple of easy ones. And one thing now, listening to Joel Selwood so you were talking about the set shots last night and how bad King's bad football. Joel Selwood just said it black and white. He just said it must be a thing. Like, he's just like, Hipwood just has to be better. Like, you just got to go back and kick them for your team. He was filthy at Eric Hipwood for the goals he missed. He's like, that's unacceptable as a forward. Missing 30 metres out, slide angle, 40 metres out. He's like, that is unacceptable. So that, you know, Joel Selwood, Luke Hodge, the best captains we've probably ever seen in our time, Das. that's just the standard of a premiership team. Like, if you get it to your forwards within 40, you just go back and kick them. You don't. It's not chance anymore because you're letting the team down. Joel Selwood just said how it is. Like, that's not good enough from Hipwood. He's just let his team down basically. So it was good to hear him in black and white just go, yeah, that's shit house.
As I said to Morgs, I messaged him last night at halftime. I'm like, this almost has the opposite effect. Could be from when we went. We got a massive lead, and Hipwood was the one that turned the game against us. He kicked a couple, and then he missed some. Charlie missed some. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, we're fit. Hopefully we come back over the top of them. And I'm just so ecstatic. Like, just you get to go off to a 1-0 start. A couple of odds here, Jev. I've got down. So Kerno for 4 was $3.80, which is still pretty short. He'll come in. Mackay for 3 was $4.75.
That's good value. He looked good. He looks like he's going to kick 3 every week. That won't be that for long.
Zorko for 2 goals was $5.
Fuck that little idiot.
Charlie Cameron, stat mate, bet of the week, Jev, from you, $1.45. Kicked 2 goals, 3, so it's pretty lucky to just get over the line. Cripper for a snag was $2.50, which is thereabouts. All the other odds, Jev, were pretty short. So if you look at touches, so the top 3, so Hewitt had 27. For 25, it was only $1.90. Chera for 25 was $1.88. Neil for 25 was $1.54. If we go down the list, this is where the more of the money is. Darcy Wilmot for 21 touches, Jev. So obviously for 20, $2.95. But it's the biggest for the 15 touches. So Jordan Boyd for the Blues had 15. He's $2.45.
There we go.
Lewis Young had 15, which was $2.45. And the sneeze, Callum Archie for 15 touches had $3 for 15.
It's good value. It's some fucking good value, especially when you're only betting 15 touches. I like betting 15 touches.
So if you like those smaller little halfback, don't have to fill up your multis with the 20s, 25s, 30s. The 15 touches for the little halfbacks, back pockets, they especially if they take kickouts, they seem to be getting it done early on in the season.
Terrible news for the Lions. They reckon Kitty Coleman has done his ACL.
Yeah.
He looked that good in the first half. He looked like he was, I think he was both our dark horse All-Australian for the Brisbane Lions this year.
Yeah.
Coming out of the Lions. I was so excited to watch him play. He looked so good in the first half, and he did his ACL in the stroke of halftime. Poor bloke. You never wish ACL, because you know it's 12 months till we see him again. I'm fucking flat for him.
But I'm so happy, Jev. The flag is teased on. I'll be wearing it all weekend. And the Blues are 1-0. We're going to come into Richmond, and I hope we fucking towel them up. And then we've got a week off, and then we've got fucking North Melbourne on Easter that Charlie's going to kick 13. Then we've got Freo away at Gather Round. Hopefully a 4-0 run, Jev. The launch pad. You want to stack some wins early, so then you can afford to have like another mini preseason towards the back end of the year, and then you'll launch up towards finals. We're with a little bit of experience now. We look like we've got a really good depth at the club. I'm just excited, Jeff.
Fuck. And like, as a Blues fan, when you were 46 points down at the Gabba opening round, you would have just been like, oh, fuck. Let's just get out of here uninjured, get home, start our season at the MCG next week. But the moxie to come back and win, come from behind in round 0, get it done. Whatever you did over preseason, you've got it right. You've come back, you've had a win, you're 1-0, going back to the MCG. You should be absolutely wrapped as a Carlton fan.
Oh, I smile on my face. Even when we got to the end, I'm like, if you end up losing by a little kick here or it's a draw, you know, at least we can play the game. I just didn't want to get fucking pumped. And then you're like, what are we doing? It's like, you just want to show you thereabouts. And we are. We do belong. Carlton are going to be a good side this year. I'm excited. Big season. Big finals. Let's go, Baggers.
I'm not worried about Brisbane at all, though, Das. They're an experienced team. They're you know, they've got a lot of games. The exact same thing happened to Port Adelaide round 1 last year. Do you remember? Port Adelaide just kicked 7, 8 in a row. They just beat them by about fucking 50 points in the end, or 70 points or whatever.
Paul Francis went berserk.
So same thing happened to them last year. I think they drink a bit of their own bathwater over preseason, the Lions, because, you know, they're not in Melbourne. They're just up there. They're training. They're smooth. They're fast. They're good kicks. And then, so they'll be fine. But fuck, they'd be spewing today. They will be spewing.
And with Kitty as well, mate. They'll let one get away.
That is a bad one. So there's the first 2 games. We've gone for half an hour already. Me and Morgs will get the next 2 games done quicker, but we've got 2 crackers. I cannot wait for Gold Coast, Richmond, and I cannot wait for GWS Collingwood, because GWS have been talking. They've been talking all this week.
They love it, though.
They've been saying we were the better side on prelim night. Like, they're so filthy they lost. So if you had to tip right now, and this will come out well because it'll be played in the same pod, Will GWS win by 30 plus or will Collingwood win head-to-head? You have to tip one. What's more likely?
That's a good one. 30 points is a lot. I think it's more likely that the Pies get over the top than GWS win by 30.
I'll take Collingwood head-to-head. I'll take GWS 30 points. I reckon they're going to.
I hope they do. I hope they
have a game
fucking
plan
smash them.
ready to go. And then give us your tip for Gold Coast Richmond before you go away.
I think the Suns win, Jev. I just think they win up there.
Win.
But you want to see a little bit more. As I said, that's why I mean preseason games don't matter. We got done twice.
Yep.
And we used to win Wizard Cups every year and finish on bottom. Gold Coast looks shit. Hopefully they come out tonight and they put on a really good performance. Exactly what we did. We looked shit against Geelong, Melbourne, and a half against Brisbane and come back and win the game. So take it with a grain of salt. I reckon that they're going to come out firing.
I'll tell you, I've got to take. I might save it till the end of the pod because I'll see what happens in today's game. But you cannot carry bad kicks of the football in today's AFL. All you need, good kicks all over your park. Watch the Swans on Thursday night. They've got Errol. They've got this young guy, Matty Roberts. They've got Braden Campbell. They've got Nick Blakey. They've got all Chad's an okay kick. Isaac Heaney's a nice kick. Tom Papley's a pretty nice kick. They've got blokes that can use the footy all over the park, and it stood out that they can slice and dice you. And when they get a bit of time to kick, they slice and dice you. Whereas Melbourne, I reckon they're lacking some good kick stars, some really good kicks. They got some nice ones off the half back line with Jake Bowie, who got injured, and Trent Rivers is a nice kick. But I reckon they're lacking some serious, talented kicks of the footy. So, and then as we spoke about the halfbacks, so Brisbane have good kicks, and they were showing it. They were slicing and dicing you. Maybe they weren't tough enough, I don't know. But then Carlton off their halfback line, Zach Williams a good kick, Doherty, Nick Newman, these guys are good kicks. So you're going to see today, if your team can't kick the ball, which maybe Richmond can't, you're just not going to survive in this year's AFL.
That's why the Pies and Giants are so good. Pies have some of the best kicks of all time.
Kicks all over the park. Giants have just fucking talent all over the park that can use the ball. So super excited for this game. See you later, Dust. That's the first half an hour. We've gone through 2 games. Let's go.
See ya, mate. Go the baggers.
Welcome back to the second half of the roast. Joining me, Morgs is back for the second half because Dust is away. It's now this dynamic duo talking about the last 2 games of the round. Morgs, how are you, brother?
Good, mate. I'm ready to be your John Stockton. You be my Karl Malone. I'll just set you up.
Let's go.
So Saturday slate, Jev, Gold Coast and Richmond. We're up at the bank. So what a game this was. 99-60, the Suns win. Shai Bolton kicked the first at $10.50. And then it was just all Suns from there to halftime. Jev, you obviously saw this game.
I didn't see heaps of this game, Morgs. I didn't see all this game. I ducked down to the beach, but I did see, so Shai Bolton kicks the first. That was one of Darcy's best bets in the 100K this week. He goes, do I pick Shai or Dusty's? For we knew Dusty was out. And he goes, Shai kicked a goal 11 of the last 12 games or something. I'm like, and it's like $1.30. It's like, take that. And then he kicks the first, and you're like, bang, what an easy tick that is. And then the Suns kick the next 11 goals in a row, Lou. 11 goals in a row. Oh, I'm worried about the Tigers. I've already said millions of times that I think West Coast are going to win a final before Richmond. Richmond are about to enter absolute football's no man's land. Like, just from 9th to bottom, they're just going to sit in there for years to come. They've got a weird list. They've got the worst kids in the league. I've said this 100 times. They would have the worst 21 and under players in the league by a mile. And like, Josh Gibkiss will get better. Played yesterday. He missed all last year with hammies. He'll just improve as the season goes on. He's a good player. But apart from that, it's trouble for the Tigers. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Our Melbourne sources were happy to see the back of Adam Uze. They reckon they took the wrong assistant coach out of Melbourne. And they were pretty happy to see the back of Adam Uze. And now he's fucking at Richmond and he's been absolutely touched up first game of the year. And he was just in the box shaking his head like, what the fuck is going on? Now, it's not all doom and gloom. They'll win some games. They're getting some players back. It's not all doom and gloom. But, geez, it was an impressive first start from the Suns under Dimmer, and then it was an ordinary start from the Tigers. I think they forgot to do a preseason or something, or it crept up on them or something.
Geez, you can't give away who our sources are now that you've dropped that nugget.
I
But
never
I
will.
don't even just if you saw the clips how they had the coaches mic'd up and like you don't want to be too judgmental, but even just some footage of Adsy on the middle of the ground just barking orders, it just I don't know, it didn't seem quite there. But yeah, so it was 11 goals 8 to 2 goals 1 at halftime, which is unbelievable. I got some stats here. You did an unbelievable post yesterday, and we do need to speak about you potentially dyeing your hair red because the daddy of the AFL, as you said, Matty Rao had 33 disposals, 20 clearances, and he paid because he hasn't been a big disposal getter.
No,
We
he
know
hasn't.
Das has died on that sword in the 100K that many times because he's just a
Oh.
contested beast that has 19, but he had paid $11.50 and probably rightfully so for his 30. Yeah,
Oh,
$11.50.
$11. That is golden.
Unbelievable. I only just grabbed this because Das was touching on it and I like it. The over-unders. I wanted to see if there was a trend there. And I think Das was saying that both overs hit. Is that right?
Probably.
Yeah, I think they did, but it didn't in this. So it was 167.5. So the under hits there. So that I was almost disappointed to see that. And then your man Noah Anderson, Jeff, he got his 25 very, very late.
Did you see? He was so Ben King kicks a goal with like 50 seconds left in the game, and Noah Anderson on 23. Matt Rao, another fucking tackle, free kick, whatever. Then they go sideways to Noah Anderson. He chips it again. Then he gets it back to get to the 25. That was $1.30 leg in the 100K. Fuck, I was lucky there. It's good to see him get his 30. What about Ben King kicking 5? I said I had him for 2 in the 100K. I said if he doesn't kick 2, I will fucking spew up. What a performance kicking 5. Do you have what he paid to kick 5, Lou?
Yeah, so Ben King, he paid $11 for 5. Even, Jesus, some good value here. So he paid $1.44 for 2, which is what you had. $2.35 for 3, $4.80 for 4, and then, yeah, $11 for 5, $26 for 6 goals, which wasn't off the board.
Fuck. That is, yeah, he had a good day. That is a good showing. He looked good. Fuck, he'd be happy. I tipped Max King to win the Brownlow. Did I actually accidentally take the wrong brother here? But what a start. If you could paint the perfect dimmer start for the Gold Coast Suns, it's play at home against your old side, kick 11 goals in a row, and then Ben King, your big forward, kicks 5. Your defense holds up for 9 goals and your midfield dominates them. So perfect tick for Dimmer. He would be absolutely wrapped with the start. We'll talk about who the Suns have next week, but those Rao and Anderson, I reckon they're about to turn 24, 23, 24 this year, maybe 25. They're about to absolutely dominate this league. They're big. Matt Rao is as tough as they come. So super exciting for the Suns. Oh, it's trouble for Richmond. I saw Matthew Lloyd have a comment like their key back stock is just crap, and they've decided to throw Noah Bolter forward. He's just the back, and now he's playing forward. Fucking hell.
Who wins? So imagine a one-on-one at training, Noah Bolter versus Noah Bolter.
Oh,
I would pay to see that.
Stupid would happen. One of them would do a handstand or something. One of them would do the most athletic thing you've ever seen, like a skyscraper hanger on a tackle bag, then fuck up a bounce and kick it out in the floor saying, fucking hell. Hey, Richmond fans must be like, what is Adam Husek doing? Why is he playing forward? Anyway,
it's fun to overreact because you don't want to overreact too much, but fuck it, it's fun. But like maybe I reckon Dimmer deserves a lot of credit. Maybe he just saw the writing on the wall. He did say he was out of gas and they needed a new voice in the room. And I reckon he was right. Like he copped a bit of flack because he just said, he's buggered. But they probably did stop listening to him. They probably did need a voice in the room. But there's no doubt he saw the look of that list and thought, I got to get out of here.
100%. He's watching the Tigers and then he's watching footy and he's seeing Nick Dacos, Will Ashcroft, Errol Goulden, like Chad Warner, all these 21, 20-year-olds coming into the league and dominating from day one. And he's looking at his list and he's like, when's Thomas Dow coming on? When am I seeing Thomas Dow dominate sort of thing? He's there. He's looking around his young stock. He's like... That bloke just hit his shin, for fuck's sake.
I mean, as I said, we don't overreact too much, but I hope, and it's only one game, but if Dimmer does even if they just finish 6th, the Suns, I reckon he deserves a fuckload of credit because he said he loves getting hands-on and actually coaching again rather than just being a manager of a footy club. And fuck, he couldn't have started much better.
It must feel good. As he said, when he left Richmond, he couldn't cook the sausage a different way again or whatever he said. He's like, he's cooked the sausage. No, he said, I've cooked the sausage 100 times. I don't know another way to cook the sausage. He gets to Gold Coast with a blank slate, but his game plan in his head. So he gets to they're a blank canvas. He gets
They're
to
a raw
do it
sausage
how he wants from the start. He's got 100 cracks at cooking the Gold Coast snag, and he's got the first crack fucking right. So I'm happy for Dim.
He's got a 24 pack of new thin beef.
Oh, geez, they make you feel crook, those bad boys. Oh, their lips and asshole, those.
Righto, so we've done that game. I think we've just reacted perfectly. I think a slight overreaction, but definitely more to come from the Dimwich, which took us into it's going to be interesting. Carlton Tigers next week as well. We'll do the guest alliance in a little bit, but geez, that's exciting if you're a Blue supporter. Next game, Jebby. The Giants and the Pies. First quarter, this was unbelievable. I thought this was going to be game of the year. And then you look at the final score. So it was 18-614 to 11 goals, 16-82. Myercheck, the elite medium, kicked the first at $11. Unbelievable snag, like a snap from 70 metres. Jebby, you saw most of this game?
I watched all this game. So you probably haven't heard it yet, but on the last half of the pod when me and Das did the first two games, before we ended, I asked him the question, what's more likely, GWS win by 30 plus or Collingwood win the game? Because GWS were talking a big game. Dar said, I reckon Collingwood win. And I said, I reckon GWS win by 30 plus. And that they did. They win by 32. They fucking did exactly what they said they were going to do. Now, I understand the best way to build up your first home game of the year is get Collingwood at your home ground and talk shit about them. So I heard Dane Swan say, Collingwood don't give a fuck about GWS. That's fair. But GWS said they were a better team on the prelim night. They said we're basically better than Collingwood and we're going to pump them. And then they rocked up and absolutely little boyed them Morgs. They beat them from pillar to post. That was the worst. Collingwood supporters will say, and Collingwood supporters will be worried this morning. That is the most unorganised and worst I've seen Collingwood play in 2 years under Craig McRae. Their defense was shambles, and they were missing Howe, who's a very good, experienced, smart defender, and Nathan Murphy, who's just one of those, he tries hard. He fucking puts his body on the line and stuff. But I don't think they would have been the difference in the game. GWS were just good. They are fucking good. They defend well. I can't remember the last time I've seen a defender as good as Sam Taylor right now. He was marking everything last night, and he gets a fist into everything, and he pushes on that borderline of giving away a free kick nearly every contest because he's so physical, but he's just a gun. And then the rest of their defenders, Iden and Buckley, and then Ash and Whitfield back there, they are just a solid defense. Then so their mids now, it just goes through the mids, and the mids kick it inside 50, and they've got Connor Brown down there who kicked 5, Brent Daniels who kicked 4 and had 22 touches, Jesse Hogan who kicked 4 and had 7 marks. He was absolutely dominant, Jesse Hogan. He was marking everyone. I'm looking now. I want to see how many contested marks he had. He had 2 contested marks. It felt like more than that. Felt like he had about 5. He had about 3 on the wing and 3 inside 50. He was just dominant. Toby Green had a quiet one. He had one moment because he was getting worn like a glove from Braden Maynard. He kicked that beautiful check side goal. I'll get into later what him kicking 2 would have won me, but he had a shocker, but they just little boyed. They get in their forward line and they look like they're scoring. Aaron Cadman looked good. He looked like he put on a bit of size. He looks like he's going to be the perfect third tall for him. Yep. Yeah, so Tobes has a quiet one. He has 15 touches, real quiet, and they just fucking dominated him, absolutely dominated him.
It looked like we're big US sport fans, and obviously in the NFL, the Houston Texans just come out of nowhere. They get their quarterback, all of a sudden they're winning a playoff game. Footy's not really like that. It's sort of like a slower, longer progression. And everyone was saying, and I said on the pod last week, how many people are tipping the Giants either at least make the 4 and then make the grand final. It's unbelievable how many people like the Giants. But they just proved that in one night. Again, it's only one win, and I don't think Pie supporters, they'll be concerned, but I don't think it's all toys out of the cot. The Giants were just a good outfit last night. But they looked unbelievable all over the field, GWS, Jev. Even I was thinking about Kingy last year. Kingy sort of said the orange tsunami, how they run in waves. And he always talks about how they run laterally. So if the ball's gone from their defensive 50 to the middle of the ground, they've got 4 players from wing, centre square, wing. At all times, they've got that handball left. And every time you watched on the game, someone would have the ball and you're like, you just knew on their left or right, they'd have someone on, and they did. And then they had numbers up the field. You're right. They look so impressive. Himmelberg now looks like a defender.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
You see, they always get a deep entry. It's always deep inside 50 in dangerous territory where it's hard to defend. And that's when Binger comes to life. Like Brown and Hogan flew at everything. But how dangerous did Binger look at ground level, picking shit up, like being right there for the crumbs? But it was also their no-names. They're no-names that are just so impressive. So we're a massive Brent Daniels fan, so I'm not going to say he's a no-name. But Toby Bedford, like everyone knows who he is because he plays for the Giants, but just the work he does when they don't have the ball and the pressure he puts on, it's him that makes Toby Green the All-Australian captain. It's Jacob Weir on the wing, number 10. You wouldn't know him if he knocked on your door and tried to sell you a house. Lockie Ash, the boy from Gatundra, like he's just that sixth defender. He's a good player. Xavier O'Halloran, and Harvey Thomas and the kid that come on the sub, Toby McMullen or whatever his name is. Like, it's these no-names that can sort of see the writing on the wall and how good the Giants are going to be, and they're just expected to get on the field and work their fucking ass off for the team, and they do, and it makes their A-graders just dominate like A-graders do. So, geez, it couldn't have been better for the Giants. They absolutely little boyed Collingwood. That game wasn't close. And so, like, Nick Dacos had 1 goal and 34 touches. I don't even reckon he's sniffing a Brownlow vote. Like, he did some amazing things, but when Giants started dominating the second half, I thought he was a bit nowhere to be seen. Maybe I'm being harsh, but I was just watching the Giants dominate. And yeah, he was Collingwood's best player by a mile. I'm not saying that, but he won't be getting a Brownlow vote for that game, in my opinion. Whitfield, 33. Kelly, 32. My man, Tom Green, 1 goal, 30 touches. Cornelio, 28. Like, it was just domination. If you're letting a small forward, Brent Daniels, have 4 goals and 22 touches, like, I don't know who was on him, if it was Markov or it was Quainer. It's like, you got to defend some more. You got to give that guy respect. He's a star. So Jordan De Goey was quiet. He only had 21 touches. He had a bit of a shocker. Pendles was nowhere to be seen. He had 3 touches at halftime. He had an absolute shocker. So,
Do you reckon as well, they sort of beat Collingwood at their own game a little bit as well? Just the speed they put on the footy when they wanted to go. You said about the long entries, and they always had that Hogan. As you said, Cadman's took a few big marks. But then it was either long or it was a short hit up to someone with no one around him, 35 out, 40 out from goal. They had so many good looks at goal. It looked like they played sort of Collingwood's game a little bit.
And then Craig McRae said in the press conference after, he actually was annoyed the way they defended. He wanted them to defend more aggressively, but I don't think they could have been more aggressively. The Giants just had great entry, and then they were hitting up. Like, I just noticed Collingwood, they sag off a lot ready for when they win the ball back. They're going end to end to score. And it's like, GWS are just the perfect matchup for Collingwood. They were so stiff to lose the prelim, but it's like, if Collingwood do go end-to-end to score, you've still got to go through Sam Taylor and Jack Buckley and Harry Himmelberg, who are great defenders. And then they've got the forwards to outmatch Collingwood's defenders. Like, I know they won the premiership, so you can't talk shit, but I still reckon there's some suspect players in that Collingwood backline. I don't want to be an asshole, but like, that bloke, he played his first game. I'm not going to bag Charlie Dean. He did have 5 kicked on him, but like Oleg Markov, Will Oskin Elliott. I hear Isaac Quainer's this fucking like Andrew McLeod coming off half back line. You got to defend. He had that many snags kicked on him last night. I better not talk too much shit about Collingwood because they play the Swans on Friday night at the MCG. They're unveiling the premiership flag. If they touch us up, they're coming for me because of that Mason Cox reel I fucking put out. Oh, read some of the comments on that reel. Jeez, they're coming for me, the Pies fans, Walks.
Yeah, the save feature on Instagram is getting a workout, just receipt after receipt. I just wanted to quickly say as well, it doesn't take away from the win at all. But the Giants kicked 18 goals, 6, and the Pies kicked 11 goals, 16. So it's so funny how much different that can look.
If you were a Collingwood supporter, you'd say we missed some fucking easy ones, and they did. They missed some easy ones. But the 18-6 of the GWS is no pixie dust. It was the deep entries.
Right.
It was the good shots on goal. Yeah, they like Tobes kicked one out of their ass. I reckon they kicked another one from the boundary. So it could have been 16 goals, 8. But they had good looks. The Pies were the ones that missed some fucking easy ones for sure. And I want to give a shout out to Bobby Hill. He looks like he's taken his game to another level. Did you see his leg speed at ground level? He looked like Cyril Rioli. When he picks the ball up, his first couple of steps look explosive. He's in for a big, big year, Bobby Hill.
He looks confident.
He looks confident. I saw that clip where on grand final morning he watched Cyril Rioli highlights when he won the Norm Smith. Then Bobby Hill goes and wins the Norm Smith. And now, I'm excited about watching him this year. Hope he doesn't give Harry Cunningham a bath next week. He probably will. Yeah. But there's the Giants are going to be cash cows in our 100K multi this year. That Callum Brown kicking 5, that is no fluke the way he plays. Like, I'd be so confident in having him for 3 in the 100K multi, or Jesse Hogan for 3 or 2. Doesn't always have to be Toby because... And then there's going to be a game this year, Toby goes and kicks 8 because they finally don't give him the attention he deserves and they try and play on the other blokes. Doesn't always have to be Toby this year. It's going to be the other guys. And Brent Daniels for 2. If GWS play a Sunday game and we've got Brown for 3, Hogan for 3 and Daniels for 2 in the same multi, I will be confident because it's not going to be the midfielders kicking goals this year. It's going to be deep entries and their forward line going to work.
I couldn't agree more. I suppose the only thing will be, as you said, Brown kick 5, Hogan 4, Daniels 4, Cadman 2. But I suppose how do you know who to choose? It's almost matchup reliant. Like if Toby has a good matchup that week, you go him. If he's going to be locked up, you got to go, Hogan or Brown. But definitely, Bobby Hill, I had a look at the tab yesterday. I think Bobby Hill paid close to $3 for 2.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on as well, your man, Jev, everyone knows how much you love Tom Green, but his half, so first half had 20 disposals, 3 marks, 4 clearances, 72 AFL fantasy points and a snag. That's a fair first fucking half, fair statement from him.
Yeah, that's why he's on Brownlow watch. How good is he? It's so unbelievable. I'll tell you what I'd like to sit down and talk to Tom Green about. So Tom Green, so you watch Tom Green and Nick Dacos play in the same game on the same field. So Tom Green would think he is better than Nick Dacos because he's so physically physically imposing. He's in and under. He's class. He's silky. He's classy. But then Dacos, like the way he runs around and the way he breaks away from tackles and his kicks and stuff. It's just amazing how completely different footballers they are. But then it's like they might finish first and second in the Brownlow, and it's sort of pick your poison on who you think's better in a way. But he is getting Brownlow votes for last night. I don't know if he's getting the 3 because there were some very nice performances. But if he gets 2, I'll take 2 opening round. And his Brownlow is, we'll speak to the Shark this week. And when we get live in studio, we can write down on my tab ticket, how many Brownlow votes he's on. But it's a good start to the season if you're getting votes opening round. You're beating the rating premiums by 30 points at home. What a start to the season, Lou.
I'm about to withdraw all of my super and have it on the Giants. Even just how you said about Tom Green, you said the other day about Melbourne, how they've got like Clary, Petrarca, like 2 guns, but they probably lack a little bit of finesse kicking skills going forward. The Giants are the exact opposite. They got Tom Green, who's just grunt, but then they got Kelly, Caniglio, who's still tough. Ward, unfortunately, got injured. Yeah. Ward got injured last night, but he's a bit of both. Like Whitfield off the half back. They are such a well-rounded team. Yeah. That's why I'm having my whole super on them.
It's the Giants to win the flag. Even make the grand final. It's
top 4, something.
It's so fucking good. It's exciting. And I said it, you'll hear it earlier on this pod. You have to have blokes that can kick the footy in your team, and you got to have about 10 of them. You have 10 kicks to the footy. Remember when Hawthorn back in the day, they had about 11 left footers on the field that could all kick. I used the Swans as an example. They've got Errol Chad. They've got Matty Roberts, who is a young player. Braden Campbell. They've got Nick Blakey. They've got so many guys that are beautiful kicks of the footy. Yep. Tom Papley's a nice kick of the footy. And I reckon Melbourne don't. Melbourne don't have the kickers. Yep. They are lacking guys that can kick the footy. GWS have the fucking kickers. So Caniglio's a nice kick. Josh Kelly's a nice kick. Whitfield's a nice kick. Lockie Ash is a nice kick. And then they've just got players all over the field that can kick the ball, and you need it. You fucking need it, or else. And Collingwood have them all over the field as well. But yeah, you need in today's AFL. If you can't damage by foot and slice and dice, and then get the one play on handball deep entry, you're going to go nowhere in today's AFL, Lou. You need to be able to kick the ball.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Jev. And as it plays into your point, which I threw up on the Instagram yesterday about Melbourne not being built to come from behind. You can't, as you say, today's AFL, the defense is set up so well that if you can't slice and dice, you just can't come back from 5 goals down.
And it's like Harry Hillenberg's the perfect example from this. So he's borderline a key defender. He's a mix of key defender, but he's nearly got skills like a midfielder or a hybrid half forward, half back. But when they're coming from behind, or even last night, he gets on his bike and he gets in a handball chain, or he kicks inside 50. He's a nice kick. He sets himself up to get the ball and dominate offensively as well. Whereas I think May, Lever and Tomlinson, maybe not as much Lever, May and Tomlinson, May's a nice kick, but when they're down by 5 goals, they look slow and like they can't win the ball back and break away with speed out of the back line. Where I reckon the Giants can. They just rely on Sam Taylor to defend, and then it's Whitfield, it's Himmelberg, it's Ash flying out of the back half, getting it to their wingers, getting it to their forward line. So yeah, it's going to be super interesting.
Melbourne is such an interesting one. Who do they have next week? The Dogs.
Well, let's do guess the lines now, Lou. So I haven't had a look at next week. I want you to go through the games. Let's guess the lines. Say the side we'd lean on. Let's look forward to round 1. It's very exciting.
I haven't done $30s. Do you want?
No $30s. We'll just say just the side we're leaning on the actual line.
Righto. Carlton, Richmond, Thursday night.
So I reckon it's going to be Carlton minus 25.5 points. About 4 goals.
Not bad. Minus 19.5.
So there's a goal less. So as soon as I said 25.5 in my head, I said I'd lean Richmond's way because Carlton got injured, and now Richmond are getting Tom Lynch, Dustin Martin, and they missed someone else. It was either Nank. I think it was Nank and Dylan Grimes didn't play or something. So I'd lean Richmond's way at 25.5. 19.5. They've lost Doherty. I don't think they're getting Walsh or Wiedering back. No. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to say which side you'd lean. So I think Carlton will win, but it feels like a 15-point. It's sort of hard to see him bite over 20. But saying that, actually, who's playing on Charlie Curnow? This feels like a bag of 6. This feels like 6, Lou. This feels like nearly 2 or 1 a quarter. So I'll take Carlton's line minus 19.5 in that game. Who is playing on Charlie Curnow? Yeah,
I agree. It's hard to know exactly what the Blues are. That was an unbelievable win, but I think you just got to have another look at it to be confident.
Sure.
You're right. If you get it forward, Harry and Charlie, they're going to cause some headaches. Friday night, you'll be there. Oh. Collingwood, Sydney at the G.
Oh, I'm going to say Collingwood by about 10.5, I reckon.
Minus 12.5.
So 2 goals. I'd be leaning the Swans way. I would be taking the Swans plus 12.5. I can't wait to watch Brodie Grundy play live in person in the red and white. Swans injuries. We still don't have Mills, Parker, Adams, but I wouldn't say Collingwood are necessarily a real bulky beast midfield like Clary, Petrarca and stuff were. It's going to be a battle of Dacos and Goulden and all these guys. So I'll take the Swans plus 12.5 for sure.
2 goals. That's big. Saturday, 1:45. Essendon Hawks will be there.
We're going to be there.
What do you like?
I'm going to say it's Bombers by about 8.5 points, a goal and a half, basically 9.5.
Spot on, 8.5.
Yeah, it just felt like a goal and a half. I was going to say 2 goals, but Hawthorn get the respect. I think the Bombers are going to win this game. I reckon, Darcy Parish is injured and Jai Newcomb might be on Brownlow watch this season. The shit that he's doing is just unbelievable. Will Day's injured for the first couple of weeks. I just feel like if Hawthorn win this game, it's going to be a Jai Newcomb 3-vote game. And he's a notable vote getter. I'm excited about watching him in person. Can't wait to go to this game. Watch the Wiz. Dar's going to be dressed up as the Wiz. So
in the kit.
I might as well jump on Dar's bandwagon. I'll take Hawks and the points, but I think the Bombers are going to be a little better than they're probably getting credit for. People love ragging on them, and I'm 1A on that bus, but I think they're going to be pushing finals right up to the end of the season. And I think Hawthorn are a bit too injured already. They're going to be lower. I actually think the Bombers are going to finish higher than the Hawks, and I should have a bet with Darcy on this one.
You should. This is, for the 100K, there's heaps riding on this. There's a lot of people with receipts for both clubs, so I can't wait. Shout out to the AFL too. I reckon they've done a great job of fixturing.
Yeah.
Next game, GWS versus North
Ooh.
at home. GWS at home.
Trouble. Trouble. I'm going to say GWS 33.5, 5.5 goals.
Minus 43.5.
Oh, so I'm 10 points off. See, I'm going to lean North. Wow. So we're going to see North ball. Yeah. There's a saying in the NFL, Morgs, bad teams don't know they're bad at the start of the season. North don't know their shit yet. They've just done a full preseason. They're going to come and go, I reckon we're a chance to sneak into the 8. Bad teams don't know they're bad until about round 3, round 4. So North's defense is going to be terrible. If you've got a bad defense against GWS, it's going to be trouble. But I'm excited about seeing North ball. And I reckon they're going to, when they win the ball, they're going to look the exact same as the Giants. They've got the kickers. They've got the leg speed. They've got the talent. They're going to flick it around and they're going to get good entries inside 50. It's whether they can kick goals past Sam Taylor and these guys. That's a super line. I wouldn't say, the Giants just beat them by 40 points, but they did just beat the reigning premiers by 32. So the Giants are going to kick a lot of fucking goals in that game, and Callum Brown and Jesse Hogan are going to kick a lot of goals because North have the worst key backs I've ever seen. So I'll probably lean the Giants there, Lou.
You could almost tease that. I reckon if you're getting $1.90 for 43.5.
Just 20. If you can get 20 or 23 or something, just 4 goals to $1.30, take the Giants. They're going to kick a bucket load of goals.
Or like $1.60 for a plus 70.
I'll tell you another good bet. The new kid, Harry Colby McKercher and Harry Sheasel, if they're both playing off the half-back line, they're going to get a bucket load of footy and a bucket load of kick-outs. They're like remember Harry Sheasel? He had 37 round 1, I reckon, last year. I reckon Colby McKercher could go close.
I love that. That'll be in the 100K. Saturday night, Geelong, St Kilda.
Where is it?
Geelong.
GMHBA or the G or Marvel? Doesn't say.
I'll find out for you and cut this.
No, I'll look it up. I've got it. It is at GMHBA. It's in Geelong. So Geelong will be favourites in Geelong. I reckon it's about 10.5 points.
It is 12.5.
2 goals. This is a tough one because I'm bullish on Geelong this year. Apparently, I'm bullish. I reckon they're going to win games. But everyone tells me how good the Saints are going to be. And I like the Saints because I keep hearing Kingy and all these guys tip them that they're going to fucking be pushing top 4. And I still don't love their talent, but I'm going to take Geelong in this game. I'm going to take Geelong by over 2 goals and Saints supporters to put the memberships in the microwave. Because if I'm a Saints supporter, I wouldn't have my expectations and hopes on top 4. I'd just be happy making finals again. So I had some Saints supporter mates at the preseason game against Essendon, and then I was getting text messages saying top 4, lock it in. I'm like, boys, just be happy with making the finals. Be happy beating that. Don't talk top 4 or else the memberships are going in the microwave. Because then if you finish 9th or 10th on percentage, you're going to crack the shits and you're going to want to fire Ross. Your expectation should be 4th to 8th. Don't worry about top 4, just 4th to 8th. Don't overthink it, please.
I couldn't agree more. But I do like some melted plastic this time of the year. Gold Coast, Adelaide at the Bank.
So it's up in Gold Coast at the Bank again. Oh, that's exciting. That is unreal. That's nearly pick 'em, isn't it? Because I reckon Adelaide would have been like $1.80 to $1.90 or saying Adelaide. But now that you've seen Gold Coast play yesterday, now I feel like it's going to be like Gold Coast minus 2.5, minus half a goal basically. What is it?
Close, minus 4.5.
Yeah, so it's basically picking. So what are the head-to-head odds? Do you have them there?
Yeah, they are $1.71, $2.14. $1.71 the Suns, obviously.
That's exciting. So Gold Coast kick 100 points yesterday, which they would be wrapped with. Adelaide are the highest scoring offense in the league and just kick goals. Who's playing on Ben King? Oh, that's going to be a fucking ripper. I'd lean Adelaide's way because they got to have a look at Gold Coast and Gold Coast don't get a look at Adelaide. So now they got a bit of tape on Gold Coast and they'll see just little tweaks on their game plan on what they can do to slow them down, whereas Gold Coast have no idea what Adelaide's going to come out with. So I'll lean Adelaide's way. I reckon the 2.14 is golden, Lou.
Does the bank play a little bit like Adelaide Oval as well? Is that just a little tidbit?
The bank.
It's a similar ground.
Yeah, it's just going to be greasy. It's going to be fucking greasy. Gold Coast gave Adelaide a touch up in Darwin last year when it was too hot. So I don't know if Adelaide play well in the wet, like the greasy conditions as well as you think they do. So, I'm still going to lean Adelaide.
4.5. I also just realised as well, we're calling it the bank because it was Heritage Bank last year. They've changed the name.
Yeah, what's it called? I saw it before.
People's Choice or something.
Oh.
So the bank is no longer in business.
Can we name it after like the Rock, like the People's Champ Stadium or something?
Yeah, we'll workshop that.
I like the bank. Fuck.
Yeah, we'll just call it the bank. Sunday, first game, Melbourne Dogs, Melbourne at home.
That's at the G. That's awesome.
At the G.
That'd be a cool game to go to. Melbourne Dogs at the G. I'm going to say Melbourne are favourites by about 8.5 points. Goal and a half.
6.5.
6.5. So it's just over a goal. The D's usually give the Dogs a touch-up. Ever since grand final, I think they've beaten them every time they've played them. I don't know that for a fact. It just feels like it. They gave them a touch-up round 1 last year. Cozzy Pickett should have got about a year suspension for what he did to Bailey Smith.
Like at a sort of a basketball association stadium where you just can't play again.
Yeah, he nearly should have. I'll take the D's. They have to bounce back. They got to watch some tape. They were disappointing the other night. They've got to get it right. I still don't love the Dogs' defense. I like their midfield. I like their offense. But Melbourne are a perfect matchup because they've got 3 tools. So they can play on Norton and Jamara, and they've got guys that can play on Waitman and stuff. They're a good matchup for the Dogs. They can go head-to-head in the midfield. They can play on their forwards. It's whether Melbourne's forwards, like the Dogs, can stop Melbourne's forwards. So I'll take the Ds by a goal. That feels about right. Like they'll probably win by 8 points. I'll take the Ds.
And the 2 Melbourne tours, 2 of them can sag off anyway because Norton and Jamal will just fly at 1 footy.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. The Dogs, as people say, the Dogs is just 2 hours of Jamar and Norton flying at the same footy, and then Waitman trying to take a hanger. But I don't want to. Fuck, I probably even shouldn't say this. We don't want to be in the business of chirping players. But is Josh Shackey the worst player on an AFL?
No.
No one's going to hear this part. Cut that part. I don't want to say that.
Put a bow on that. Sunday arvo.
Before you go, David King said, I heard him say on Fireball Friday, nothing stands out more than an uncompetitive big man. And I think he might as well just text Josh Shackey. When bigs are having a shocker, and Mason Cox was hit last night when he was on 0 at half time, they stand out like dog's balls. It is fucked, isn't it?
Oh, no. I don't want to be poor. I feel for Josh.
Yes, no, he won't hear it. No one will.
He's made more money than us, I guess.
Yeah.
Port West Coast at home, 4:00 at Porter at home. Sorry.
Oh, this feels like 10 goals. This has to be 60.5, doesn't it?
I reckon you'll be surprised. It's Port minus 45.5.
Give me Port. Give me Port. They beat the Lions round 1 last year. I'm just going to it was by like 72 points. They were on fire round 1 last year.
Fit.
West Coast are going to be ordinary. They've still got Jeremy McGovern and Tom Barras, so maybe they're not going to leak as many goals as you think, but this Port midfield is ready to beat the shit out of this Adelaide midfield. This game screams of 100K fill up this game. Butters, Rosie, Todd Marshall for 4, like shit like that. I would be confident in this game. That game lick your lips for the 100K. Let's go.
Love it. And spoiler alert, you will not see me seeing a lick of this Bachelor's game. 6:50 Eastern time so the Sunday roast will have already started because it's going live during this game. We are not waiting for this game. Fremantle, Brisbane, over there in the West.
Fremantle, Brisbane at the Gabba. At Optus. Wow.
Optus.
I'm going to say Brisbane are going to start favourites, which is pretty cool on the road. I'm going to say it's about 13.5, a little over 2 goals.
It's a great guess. 14.5.
14.5. So I reckon Freo already have red flags in their thing. I actually didn't see him play in the preseason, but I heard David King say on Fireball Friday, he goes, if they dish up the shit they put in their preseason tape, they're in trouble. they're on fire your coach watch first in the season, and Brisbane will watch tape and train. So they played Friday night, now they're playing Sunday arvo. So that means they've had 2 days off. They're going to train like it's preseason again this week because they will be fucking filthy. They dropped that game. So just hang with me for a sec. I'm going to lean Brisbane. They're going to win by 2-3 goals easy. Give me a sec. I just want to go back to last year.
The Lions as well. They looked unbelievable in the first half.
Yes.
Like unbelievable.
They were
so
kicking
that's
goals
still
with
there.
ease. So last year, Port Adelaide beat the Lions by 54 points at round 1, opening round, and then round 2, the Lions come and beat the D's at the Gabba by 11 points. So now Carlton have beaten the Lions. Now they're going to go on the road. They're going to be focused there, and they're going to beat Freo by about 21 points, I'd say they'd win. They'll win by 3.5 goals. Kitty Coleman being out with an ACL for the year. Flat. We are both massive Kitty Coleman fans. He was about to put himself on the map, fucking shattered. And the news of Sam Doherty fucking hurts. Poor bloke. I don't know if you've heard the Dan Does Friends podcast with Sam Doherty, but he's the greatest guy. The shit he went through to get back playing. He's like everyone's favourite teammate, and now he's out for the year. Oh, fuck, he's 30.
Makes you feel crook.
Yeah.
You don't even like talking about it, but what made me feel like if it was the same knee, it's like, fuck, he just like 2 ACLs. To have the other knee, it's the knee that he hasn't even had had surgery on this one before. It's just the bad luck involved is just, it makes you feel crook.
And there wasn't much in it. He sort of just got tackled down, and it's done his MCL with his ACL, and just fucking poor bloke. You know what?
I didn't really want to say this, but I could tell when he did it. You could just tell, like his face. He was in denial straight away.
It was just
it was all over his face. He was just pretending as if, it's fine. But yeah, I just had this feeling.
He's just like, I've been through this before. I know what just fucking. Whereas Kitty Coleman, I thought he snapped his shin the way he wrapped it around the defender. So it was sort of like, maybe he's just got a stinger or whatever that bit at the front of your knee.
Bone bruising.
Yeah. But to hear he's done his ACL, it's like, fuck, that is stiff. So I'm fucking flat for him. But I can't wait. 100K having 7 games to bet on because we don't do Thursday night, Friday night is going to be golden this week. So can't wait for that. Fuck. Who's going to listen to 70 minutes of the Sunday roast after 4 games, Lou? We've gone with 7.
I'm going to be surprised.
Can't wait to listen to this tomorrow, or when are you getting this out?
This will be out tonight.
Really? Fuck yeah. And then, so can you explain to me what we're doing going forward as much as everyone else?
Yeah, so as I said on the 100K pod, so we had so many messages that it would come out Monday morning. But if you're like us and you probably don't watch a lot of the 440 game, people want to hear, they want to throw the pod on at like 5 o'clock and hear you talk about the Thursday, Friday, or the Saturday game. So we thought, fuck it, we're going live. So every Sunday night, well, not everyone, there's going to be the occasional one that we miss because we've got a life and we've got to be on site at 7 on Monday until we get paid for this shit. But most Sundays, you and Das will go live, or whoever it's going to be. So you'll be able to tune into YouTube, listen to the show live on the Sunday night, and then it'll still come out as a podcast and a YouTube video like it always has. But yeah, just to have that instant reaction with a live chat room, maybe a few guests as well live. It's going to be unbelievable.
Fuck yeah. Then we can answer, if people are watching and typing in at the end of the pod, we can go through some viewers' mail and stuff. And yeah, that's perfect. That'll be fun. So that's during the Bachelor's game. So we'll aim for like 6 o'clock for that, will we? Or 5:30 or something.
We'll have to discuss. Consistency is the key, but I don't know. We'll work on that. We'll work out.
We still live live, so he's got shit to do. Fuck. No, that's unreal. I can't wait for that. So that's the first Sunday roast of the year. It's been, I think opening round's been a success, but I was copping a lot of shit on Twitter and online because of how hot it was in Sydney and Brisbane. So then it got those greasy conditions, and it's like you've started the season a week too early. But then again, it's been 38 in Melbourne this week. Imagine the players played at the MCG yesterday. It was 38 and windy. It was unbearable to be outside. So I don't know. I liked it. I loved it. It was just good. I guess I just love having footy back. So if it was Carlton Richmond on a Thursday night, we would have been fucking pumped as well. But it gave us a nice taste, the 4 games. So fucking exciting.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think it was a massive success. And if you're a US sport fan like us, I was going to message you last night, the NFL going longer than it's ever been, and then the footy starting as early as ever been. Our off season is so short now.
Yeah. Well, it's unbelievable.
we're cooking.
Also, Lou, I made the call after the Swans game that one of the 4 prelim spots are taken by the Sydney Swans. So the rest of the teams are fine for 3. Now I reckon 2 of the 4 prelim spots are taken by the GWS Giants. So there's 2 spots to grabs, and Collingwood and Brisbane would be my favourites right now, but the rest of the AFL are playing for 2 prelim spots for me.
It's a tough world.
It's a tough world. And also, catch me. I'm going to be on the True Bloods podcast this Tuesday night. I don't know when it comes. No one will give a fuck unless you're a Swans reporter. But from other Swans nuffies, they've invited the Swans nuffy onto their podcast this Tuesday night. So we'll post a bit of crap about that when I'm there and I'm on it. And they've invited me to talk about the Swans. You reckon I'm going to struggle with that, Lou?
I just hope you don't have indigestion still.
I don't even know why I've got indigestion. I'm just nervous or I'm excited. I don't know. Just talking about footy.
No, I love it.
Can you edit out indigestion?
There's not an AI robot in the world that could fix that indigestion.
Oh, God. I need some Gaviscon.
Gav was here before, but now he's gone.
Mason Cox is gone. Oh, no, don't start this, Pete.
Put a bow on it.
Will he see our video?
Huge effort from you, Jeff. You've spoken for about 3 days.
Oh, fuck.
Hell of a pod. Next week, I think it's next week anyway, we'll be live, but you'll hear it. The pod, we're doing the pod earlier these days to get it out earlier. So the pod should be out Wednesday, 100K multi for this week. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks, Luke.
You're a good egg.
Yeah, good on you.